Hi there, Doublicious, back again with a new recording for you guys. Today we're going to do something different. We're going to use one particular pack we just launched as Basic Waves, called Movement 1, and contains 375 presets for Serum 2. I'm going to make a track from scratch, only using this particular pack, and let you guys join the creative process. So let's go. Okay, back in our DAW. Let's start with a groove, and then use this particular pack, Movement 1 only, to create sounds, melodic elements, bass, everything included. The only thing I need to start doing first is to make a groove. So let's start with a kick. I always do that. I have no clue in which direction I want to go yet. I also need to get a little bit inspired with the sounds. So let's start it off with 122 beats per minute. Soft kick, we can always change it later. And let's take it from there. Turn my volume up a little bit on my headphones. Yeah, that's better. I did decide to start producing with headphones if I'm recording, because I do sometimes heard overdub in my recordings, and I don't want that. So still need to get used to it, because I do like my monitor speakers and hearing it that way. But yeah, we'll get used to it. Yeah, next thing I always do is add different perks, like weird sounds, just to establish a groove. And then let's see what I usually add a bass after that, and sometimes I change the bass again, but that's for later. So yeah, let's jump into our sample packs, and then let's take some of the percussion sounds, some loops. I'm not searching for congos. Yeah, let's try Doulos' one. And then some percussion loops. That's quite loud. That's too full. I like that. Change the dynamics a little bit. That's what I always do with samples, because I don't want to just drag in samples and then say, hey, this is my track. So now it's like the transient is way fuller. If I take this down, I don't like this part, because it's like, so here it drops because I changed it. So we need to make this shorter. I think this will work fine. Okay, let's add some more stuff. I always just like throw in lots of stuff, and then from there I'll see, like, yeah, this I like, and take away some perks, maybe some hats, whatever. Like just create a groove and see what feels good. I always add a top loop as well, but then I also take lots of things away, but just to see if we're going somewhere with the groove. I like that. I don't like the snare in the beginning, so let's get rid of that. Let's start from here and then make it. I think I want to get rid of some of the highs. Yeah, more like the dun, 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 dun. Again, no idea if we're gonna use it, but just again put stuff in and see what resonates. The moment you start adding your melodic components, then you know which perks you want to have and which one you don't want to have. Maybe I still need to pitch them. I like this clap. Yeah, that's better. I think I'm gonna add a tom as well. Let's see. But yeah, we're not in a key yet, so let's add a short drone just to create a bed where we can start working from. I always do that, and sometimes I take away the drone, sometimes I keep it. What key do we want to play in? Makes it a little bit of a dark track. This is, I find, the most cool moment in creating a track, right? It's like making a painting and you have a blank canvas, and then you start adding the serious paint, right? After you put your layers down in tape of where you want to put your clouds, etc., etc. This is like, this sets the emotion of your track, and I think this is an important decision when we need to make. Makes it dark, yes. I like the first part, don't like the last part, but let's see if we put it in, what happens. Usually create a couple of instances and then let's put this in, but I don't want the last part, only the first part, so I think it's this. Let's create crossfades on clip edges and then consolidate that and put that on loop. I'm going B minor then, but yeah, we can always pitch it. But I like it this way. Could try this. I do hear a small click here, which I don't like. Of course you don't hear it now. Yeah. Really, sometimes working with samples in Ableton, you know, I don't get it. So what if we just duplicate all these things, create crossfades on clip edges, and then if we consolidate that, let's see what happens. Still a tiny. It's acceptable. But now talking about it, I'm getting bored of it already, so we're not going to use it. This really makes it more of an organic track. Like Middle Eastern style. I do like that. Going back here. I like this. Let's consolidate that and play with the rhythm a little bit, and then we're gonna jump. And again, this should only be on the background, not too loud. But it gives a little bit of a direction where we're gonna go. And it's A minor, makes it easier to play, right? Only white keys. Let's leave that for now. I do want to add hats and maybe another clap or a snare, and then we start using the pack. So let's start with a 16th. Oh no, just a off hat first. Let's get a nice hat out. Since we are already going to a little bit of an organic type of track, we should make the hat also a little bit organic. So cool trick, which I always do if I use hats, I always use a vocoder, and then you can really adjust it. So just put a vocoder on it, play with the dry wet. You can also use the formant. A little bit of reverb on the tail. This is too much. Without. Such a big difference, really. Let's get rid of some low end. Yeah, this should be it. Could even add a little bit of delay here. Then what I always do, I add another hat just as a one shot to emphasize the other hat, so you get a little bit of a groove. And another cool trick which I want to show you guys is basically if you use hats and samples, and this hat starts quite late, as you can see, but I like that because that gives the organic feel. But I'm also going to use the LFO, put it on random, take the hertz down. Then this is the LFO, and then I use the pitch on random, so the hat also changes pitch randomly while it plays. And it's not a lot, but it makes a big difference if you use different hats and you use this trick on all of them. You really get that organic feel that it's been played by a human and not a drum computer like going chick, chick, chick. A little bit too much delay. And then we need to add another head, like I said, to emphasize, but I always make copies of my empty channels, so I always have a free one to use. So let's make a copy of this. And it needs to be more of an open head. That could work. Yeah. Again, I'm going to use a vocoder on this. And a little bit of a tail on the reverb. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. And this one we're going to do the same trick. So basically put LFO on random, take the hertz down, play with the pitch. But in this one, because it's a one shot and not playing all the time, I'm also going to pan it a little bit, so you hear it coming from the different sides randomly. A little bit of a delay. Could try this maybe one earlier, see what happens. Too early, maybe like this. No. Okay, let's also add some 16th heads. Don't know if we're going to use it, but it's always good to have them. And it's just really easy to make. Just do it like this. Take the velocity down. And then make a nice staircase. So you really get that. It's so easy to make these 16th heads, you know. It's like, I never knew it was this easy when somebody showed me how to do it. Yeah, the only thing we need is a good head, but we don't need an open head for this, just a regular closed head. Good work. Pan it a little bit. I think it needs to be pitched a little bit. Maybe not. Different sound. Let's also put a sidechain on this, because I don't want it to go all the time. vocoder on it. Yeah. Okay, let's add some perk one shots. Yeah, that could work. Again, making a couple of copies because you never know what you're gonna use again. Make a 4-bar loop. I think this could already work. Let's tweak this sound a little bit. Add some reverb to this, so it gets a little bit more of a tail. Without. Yeah, and there are many ways to achieve this, right? I mean, we can also put a random MIDI generator on this. I put a perk pack on it, but I usually try to make these things myself, right? Because then you really feel what groove you want to go. And again, if I start adding the melodic components, then yeah, lots of things eventually can change in the perks. I had tracks where I removed all the perks I started with and then made new ones, but just to get a groove to play something on. And I'm not convinced about this. Well, let's start adding a bass and then let's take it from there. For you guys who cannot see it, I have Ableton Push here. We're gonna load Serum because, as I said, that contains all the sounds from movement 1. And let's start with the basses. No, I really don't like this. It's fucking annoying me. We've not determined the key yet, but I think it's going to be A minor. So let's change this. Cool sound. Let's record it like I always record stuff. I think the second part is fine. Let's see, maybe this part. Oh. I think that could work. Some small adjustments here and there, but let's see. Don't want the second one. This either. Yeah. Don't like the second riff. This one is nice. So yeah, this is what I usually do if I want to tame my bass. I put a shaper box on my kick, having a look how long my kick actually is. As you can see, my kick ends here, so I'm gonna stretch it a little bit longer. And then this side change would basically be perfect for the bass to come through as well. So then I take back the shaper box again, put it on my bass again, and see what happens. Yeah, and then we need to take the high like this. Okay, let's make some adjustments in serum. Where is this coming from? That's level 2, 3 maybe. That's pen. Yeah, this one I think. see if the delay is filtered. I do think it is, otherwise. Yeah. That's probably this one, yeah. Yeah, that's better. We can play with the filter later on in the mix. But if you're gonna do that, we also need to open the EQ. That's for later. Don't like that fourth part. Let's try it like this. But it needs to be the same then, otherwise we have really inconsistent bass. Which can be nice, but that's not what I'm aiming for. Maybe add this one as well. Yeah, then we should make it like this. So 4 bars. Let's take away this part. Then this is going to be the last riff. Take that away. Copy this. And let's move all this to the side. And then this should be similar as this one. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Maybe we'll change the bass. We never know. That is the difference with painting and making music. paint is quite permanent. In music, you just can take everything off. But I do like to make the similarity. Pads, like melodic elements, and then we'll see if the bass line fits with what we have in mind. So let's add another instance of serum on this one. Let's go to some pads, quite a lot, so let's see what we can find. Let's record something. Nice sound, Nico. Great job. Really like it. Definitely needs a sidechain, so let's make a copy of this kick, turn it off, call it sidechain. You know what, it actually is the case. Every time I do this, I was like, oh yeah, I need to save this in my default preset template, so I don't have to do it all the time again. And I always forget about it. And every time I make a new track, I was like, yeah, I just put the sidechain in myself. Sounds familiar, probably. We're starting with a 3-minute track. I mean, we got 2 hours. I gave myself 2 hours to start making this, and we're currently on half an hour. So 1.5 hours left. That's not a lot, but let's see how far we can push it. Sidechain done. Then we're going back to this one. And then we put a sidechain on this. I think the bass is cool. It's funky. Let's see what kind of effects are on this chorus. Really nice sound. That's for the mix. Yeah, we're gonna add another top layer on top of this. Try some flux, see what happens. I mean, it's so weird, right? I never used this pack before. I just got it from the Big Chief Jules, aka Bound to Divide, and I mean, look how many sounds are in there, right? Like it's only one. It's just too much, you know. Like I don't know where to start, and it's so cool. We can make so many tracks out of this pack. Need to move my mic a bit, guys, otherwise I can't play. Nice sound, but not for this. More what I'm looking for. Like an arp, which. Like that, let's record it. Tame this a little bit. Let's quantize this. Oh yeah. Why the hell would you do that? Just like, why would you remove my notes? That's so weird. Let's see what happens. No, it's too much. just gonna leave it, and then, I mean, I'm not unhappy with it, but it's also quite simple and might get annoying over time. So let's make a duplicate of this. Remove this. Let's get this a little bit of a different color, even though I'm colorblind. And then we call this one shot. Let's see what else we can come up with. I'm going to turn this off for 1 second. Again, let's record stuff. No idea if I'm gonna use it, but again, what I always do, just record stuff so you have, I call it the Lego moment or Lego moment, you know, like these little blocks, and no, everybody knows Lego, I don't have to explain, but you're building blocks, right? So I try to record as much as possible, and then I put everything in like a big, basically Canva, and then I start building, and then it's like, this fits, or maybe this will fit later. Maybe I resample it and I use a particular one shot of it, or I reverse it and use it as an intro, but the melodic elements already fit because I played it in the key and in the arrangement of the song, right? And it's a cool trick, and I try to record as much as possible, even though half the time I end up using only a couple of things and not everything, but just a cool tip I wanted to share. Dun, dun, dun. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. So what if we make this a chord? I have no idea if it's gonna work, guys, but let's see. Maybe a fifth, 1, 2, 3. I don't like this. This should stay like this then. No, I don't like the chords. It's too muddy. Let's modify this sound a little bit. But no, not a crystalline, a crystallizer on it, because I think that will create a cool effect. an echo boy behind that, so I can pick up the delay of the crystallizer. And maybe for the noobs out here, right? But yeah, I also was a noob back in the days. This chain does work like you're routing audio through something, right? So the first thing you put on the chain, it first goes to the EQ, then it goes to the compressor. So bear in mind that whatever you put on this chain, it does matter in which order you put it. And to be honest, I didn't know when I started producing. I just put all my effects on it. It's like, yeah, I have an effect on this channel now, but it makes a big difference if you put a reverb first and then put the delay or the other way around, right? So play with that and be aware of it. I mean, probably all of you guys know it, but the fact I didn't makes me feel like a noob, but I also want to share it. That's a big difference, really. Velocity also does something. I see, it does, but I don't like it. Okay. What if we take the velocity down? Nope, don't like it, but we could maybe use it as a different sound. Let's see. Shorter steps. Second part is this one. about the second part where it goes off beats? Change this to a copy of this, but then lower. I think I like that. Let's take this crystallizer and also put it on, oh, that's the wrong one, on this one. Yeah, that's too much reverb on it. So let's go back to Serum. Let's take the reverb down a little bit. Watching my mini meters properly, so let's see how much space we have in the mix. Oh yeah, another thing I forget, let's put our inflator on. Yeah, now it needs a lead sound. Yeah, it needs a pad, it needs a something like that. So let's start with a pad MIDI. Why is this not the same color? CRM2. What else? I mean, that synth is amazing though. Like back in the days when we were using Massive and that was all that, and now we have CRM2, which is different level, different. Oh, Jesus. Yes, and then bats. Okay, let's start with Aura and take it from there. Nice sound, really. I mean, not for this track, but really like it. It is evil though, because I know what sound I want to have. But yeah, I'm not allowed to use Omnisphere, because that has a particular pad sound, which I think will fit this track really nice. But we can't, no, because we have plenty of sounds here. Also like this. Record stuff. Oopsie. Let's put it at the right timing. Let's start with that. I'm not saying I'm going to use this sound, but I do think these chords are cool. keep this one and then use the same MIDI to search for some other sounds, make life easy. Oh, Jesus. That's loud, man. That's way too loud. Okay, but then we do need to make some adjustments to this, because as I see, it's not quantized. And I'm not the greatest player. Fact, sorry. I'm better at drawing in notes than playing it myself. Well, we could do a live session on one of the synths I have there. Prophet 6, or sorry, the Uno 6 is definitely one of my favorites. Really gives that old analog disco feel. I just love it. What if we lower this one octave? What if we lower the whole thing as an octave? Definitely an octave lower. Maybe. Let's go back to this one. Delete this because we're not going to use it anymore, and then make a duplicate of this. And let's see what else we can come up with. I'm not fully 100% convinced, but let's see. What if we take these two and we keep them going? Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's better. Otherwise you get that ping. I don't like that. Let's take the LFO down a little bit, because I feel it's moving quite fast. That is funny. Less octave jumps. Yeah, I could work with this. And now we need a pad layer, like no pad, a lead, basically, like screaming through the rest of the mix. Let's see what we can find. It's always fun to check out new sounds. Let's go for leads and see what we can find there. Oh. Nice sound. No, not what I'm searching for. Possible. Needs to be more like a longer. I could make it like in that sense, make the sustain higher, but I don't want to adjust the sounds because just probably there's one in here what I'm searching for. No. Also nice, but not for this one. Ooh. Like a guitar, I do like it. Also nice, but not for this track. Also nice. Almost. Oh, that could work. Record some sessions. Almost. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Not completely convinced about this one, but let's see. I do like the beginning riff, so let's get rid of this. Let's take this and then now start making some adjustments. Bim 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 bim, something like that. Bim 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 bim. See what happens. Maybe not. Let's. One more. I'm still not completely convinced about this, but let's see. I need to take the cutoff down a little bit because it's too sharp, and I think it's... Which one is it? Which one is going so far? Which one is doing the long envelope? Is that envelope 1? No, it's not. Envelope... Yeah, see this one. Maybe. I'm not convinced at all. Let's make a new one. Let's duplicate this. Let's be at this. Get rid of this. And then let's find some other sounds. Off key. That's because of the pitch bend. This one. Also not for this sound. don't know. Well, let's have a look. Second part. Oh my god, I still have half an hour left. And I have not started arranging yet. Let's record this again, because it was like lots of crap. Sorry about that. Let's do that again. One more time. That's it. Right, let's take the volume down a little bit. It's this part. We need this out. Let's beep. Yeah, and then I think we need to go start arranging to make it a little bit of a track, and then we'll probably hear what's missing, what we like, what we don't like, how the bass sounds, all that stuff. Let's quantize this. Okay, let's start arranging, because otherwise we have no time at all. I think I will start with this ambience sound. Yes. Let's add some perks, maybe. No, we definitely way more perks for this track too, but just to start with. Nope. where's the particular lead? That was here. I'm thinking maybe lowering this. Maybe add. We'll see that later. I think the pads can be included immediately, but then we will filter them. Yeah, this does need to change, otherwise it sounds weird. Ooh. That was not what I wanted. This. And I also think it should start a little bit earlier, like this. Auto filter. And to be honest, I think I have way too little Lego blocks to start building, because it's like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 tracks. It can be possible, but I think it should be more. Well, let's change. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Maybe already at the base there. I don't know. Let's have a look. And I think I'm also gonna use a single shot bass to start with. Yeah. So let's copy this bass. Let's put it here, and then we got this bass 2. We're just gonna get rid of this. Where's that lead sound? Right here. We're going to use a different color for this. Okay, yeah, this needs to keep on going. I don't know about that. Let's add the kick here. This needs to keep on going. Same as this. And then the extra hats will come in right here. Let me turn off the heater. This is getting really warm in here. Okay, beginning. That sound is too loud. Let's filter it a little bit. Okay, let's use that as a what is this, the arc, right? No, we're not even using that. What's the other sound? I really don't like that sound, no. Let's see. Where's the arc? Right here. So let's start modulating that. Then we're gonna go into a break or something. Yeah, let's filter this a little bit. So like this. Yeah, and I think we're gonna keep this bass and then change it when the drop comes. So like this. I don't like that middle break here, so let's change that. So we get a more consistent flow. Take that away as well. Maybe less delay. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna change this to here. So this is going to be the new arp then. Let's loop that, consolidate it first, then loop it, and let's drag this along. Running out of time. Okay, let's first put some saturation on my hats and on my percussion. So let's put this in one group. I think we're still gonna add a tom as well. Percs and hats. Okay, let's get some sweeps, some other stuff. That's too much. Maybe. Let's see. We're gonna put that right here. And then do like this. Little bit of reverb on this, not too much. No, I don't like this lead, guys. Sorry. I need to make something else here. I am running out of time, and it's so not fair. I mean, this would be the base of my track, right? I do like the bass beginning. Some ear candy, some small perk one shots. I'm not 100% convinced about this one. Yeah, that's the lead sound. Needs to go in there. And this is break needs to stop here. Maybe, let's see. No, not this one. My FX right here. No idea if this will work. Let's see. It's not worth it. Let's see if we can get some cool tonal fills. You never know what we might find. I do like that. But it doesn't fit this track. Maybe. Also nice, but not what I'm searching for. Do like that. What about this part? Nah, and this lead also needs to go. I really don't like it. Okay, guys, that's probably gonna be it for now. I'm not unhappy with it. I mean, as we all know, producers, right? You make stuff, half of the stuff is gonna go in a folder, and you never look at it again. Sometimes you take one out, and it sets the mood, and then you think like, yeah, I'm gonna finish this one. I do like the bass line. It's funky. Let's do a small replay and then it's a little bit loud. That's better. Also not convinced about that. Bam, bam. Well, I'll let you guys be the judge if I need to put this file into my folder and never touch it again. Finish it, add other elements. I think the bass is there, but it does need a lot of work in everything. I think a proper lead will make a big difference to this track. I think the groove is cool, yeah. But yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.